It's okay.
But
Lots of energy.
on that note, I have never gotten a water bill. I called twice, stayed on the phone 45 minutes both times, never talked to anyone. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go over to the
Right,
place and pay the water bill. I don't know what else to.
yeah.
Can't do it online?
Apparently, I'm not supposed to do it online, but I did try to log in to get the bill online, and.
How'd you get the water bill?
It was mailed to me, we had to write a check, remember,
Right.
2 signatures. So
Yeah.
No, we're not
So
supposed to
logging
do
in
that.
online would be fine, I could get the bill there, but I couldn't even do that because I needed to know that was why I needed the,
Yeah.
Trouble with that website almost every time people.
You may,
Yes.
They told you.
like, have needing created an account. with
I,
your-
that's what I, but I needed the last 4 digits of our.
Oh, and we got that,
Well,
okay.
one probably needs to know that, I thought it was just.
Okay.
So I had to stop, I had to, you know.
And it's always down.
Yeah.
You're trying to reach us, we're down.
I got to the point where I check, just mail it to me,
Okay.
yeah, because yes, I'm tired of dealing with the website.
Well, I can vouch for the county running a tight ship. I retired 6 years ago, did all my paperwork to get direct deposit into my account. I'm still getting a check. And I called them and said, hey, what's it? No, you did everything, it's on us, we'll get to it. 6 years later, they're still sending me a
He
check.
gets a check for
Healthcare.
healthcare subsidy.
We got a $690 water bill,
I got a $385 water bill.
and Phil Ramori got a 500 and something.
But you got one too, didn't Janice, didn't you?
Well, I don't know if I should say this, it's one of them deals like you just got. Claire next door called me sometime last summer and she said, how much is your water bill? And I said, I don't know, it comes out of my thing, my check, and I don't reconcile that account, so. She said, I've been getting a water bill for $17.70 something cents, and she says, the bill says that I'm using 0 gallons of water. And, so I said, I don't know, so I finally looked up mine and got it in my,
Whoa.
I'm paying $17.70 something cents a month, using 0 gallons of water. So I just figured, well, I ain't saying anything. I won't say anything that, as long as they don't try to make me pay a $5,000 water bill, I'll pay the same thing that I paid the year before, I don't know if they want to deal with me that way, but. So about 2 months ago, and they come by and check my meter. I see them go over and check my meter, right? And about 2 months ago, they had 2 guys standing in my front yard, and they were standing there. One guy came and knocked on the door, and he said, "Can you turn the water on?" And I turned the water on, and he yelled. The guy said, "It's dead."
Oh.
So
That's hoot.
yeah, and I'm thinking, oh man, it's been like 9 months.
Did they go back on you and
No,
estimate?
They can't.
The very
They
first
can't?
one, the very next bill that I got was negative $45.
What?
What?
So 17 something must be the basic charge
That's the
to have it
basic charge,
turned on,
just to have it, just to have the service.
except yours is dead.
But mine is dead. And Claire's was too. I don't know how they both went out at the same
Yeah.
time, but they had to replace. So I called her. I'm like,
It's coming.
It's
Well-
coming. They're coming to replace you.
They come
All
back
over
for
the
you?
county, people have been getting these big, and what it was is they're not reading the meters regularly, and then they're making it so. Anyway, we've got, because our new lawn is on the well, so that wasn't it. So anyway, we've got a guy coming to see if he can find a leak, and if he doesn't, we get,
Whoa. Leak where?
we don't know. It's some.
It's not in this,
We know it's not in the house because the pipes go overhead and there's no water. So it's somewhere between the meter and the house. Must be a leak. Anyways,
has anybody,
what?
looked into that? I
They're
was not aware
coming.
of it.
What?
Well, because me and Phil, years ago, we detected a leak somewhere in the sprinkler system, but we shut that
Yeah.
side off.
Right.
So it's gonna be there to the, return and it's gonna go into the building. Those are the only two places. And where those guys were stepping on that piece and they broke it, it's gotta be right there. That's the only exposed area.
Well, I'm talking about our personal, our home water bill.
Yours.
Yes,
Oh,
our home water
sorry.
bill was.
I thought you were talking about the pool, cause you said the pool was $6.90.
You're a
No,
very,
mine,
very kind neighbor worried about her water bill.
Oh,
no, my water.
howdy?
I had two, what are we missing?
Sarah's
oh,
here.
Oh, there she is, 1, 2, there are 3.
Zach.
And Zach, yeah. Gotta have Zach. Unless he forgot.
You done with these?
Yes, thank you very much.
well, I can tell you with the older brass lines through the walls, that has been a problem too. Get a pinhole
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah,
in
that's
the
the
brass
copper-
copper,
the
in
copper, yeah.
in the block walls.
You should see if you go up in my attic, it's got clamps. Clamps all over. I need to get mine.
Yours go up overhead.
Mine does, yeah.
Yeah, we had that done a
Yeah.
few years ago.
Now I need to take all that copper out though and put something else up there, cause
Oh, when they replumbed it, they put
they
copper?
put copper, and then every time you turn the water on, there's that slight
Yeah.
vibration.
Water
and
hammer.
then it's sitting right on top, and then it just gets a tiny little pinprick, and
Yeah, plus the water going through it and the sediment, it gradually,
Wherever the bend is, it erodes the copper.
Hello, Zach.
Hello.
Good to see you.
See you too.
Hey, the gang's all here.
Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order at sometime.
7:30.
Somebody's got it. Good. Let's have the secretary's report. Zach's got copies of our two. We got budget hearing and regular meeting.
All right.
Do you get a budget?
Hey, Tom. We need one more chair.
There you go.
okay.
Oh, okay.
You can have this one, Chris. You can have that one.
Two Toms.
All
All right, we're ready for the secretary's report. Zach.
right. All right. The regular meeting of the Brandon Hills Special Dependent District was held at the Brandon Community Center at 502 East Sadie Street, Brandon, Florida, on May 1st, 2025. President Janice Doyle called the meeting to order at 7:37 p.m. The following people were present: Janice Doyle, Brad Sampson, Justine Wilkes, Zach Cope, Zoraida Perro, Chrissy Burgett, Ralph Almirola was absent. We had 4 guests: Art Gazetta, Olin Barnett, Jonathan Burgett, and Jan Milner. The minutes of April's meeting were read by Zach. Brad motioned to accept the minutes, and Trissy seconded the motion. The minutes were approved. No treasurer report was presented because Bank of America did not have the previous month's statement on May 1st. April's report will be read at June's meeting. Justine presented 3 budget options, and the board voted on them. Option A received 0 votes. Option B received 0 votes. Option C received all board member votes except for Ralph, who was absent. New business. JS requested reimbursement in the amount of $33.94 relating to Cootie Palm insect dusting. Zari requested reimbursement in the amount of $44.63 for Neem Max also used to treat the Cootie Palms. Zach requested reimbursement in the amount of $244 for the legally required placement of the Tampa Bay Times ad for the upcoming May budget meeting. Justine motioned to reimburse all members for their requests, and Brad seconded the motion. Motion passed. Trissy motioned to adjourn the meeting, and Brad seconded. The motion passed, and the meeting adjourned at 8:03 p.m.
Any additions or corrections?
One meeting with the budget.
All right, do I hear a motion, we accept them as read?
Motion.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And And then, last month we had our budget hearing, and I don't know if you've been following, but our Congress, all the way to the top, is trying to get a hearing to approve the budget. So, all right, Zach, the budget hearing.
Minutes for the May 1st, 2025, 2026 budget hearing. The public budget hearing for the Brandon Hills Special Dependent District was held at the Brandon Community Center on May 1st, 2025. The following people were present: Janice Doyle, Brad Sampson, Zaria Perro, Justine Wilkes, Zachary Cope, and Tracy Burgett. Ralph Almirola was absent. We had Art Cruzetta, Owen Barnett, Jonathan Burgett, and Jan Milner as guests. President Janice Doyle called the hearing to order at 8:04 p.m. She noted that the hearing had been advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on April 13th, 2025. Janice reminded the board that the purpose of the meeting was to review and approve the budget for fiscal year 2025-26. The proposed budgets were posted on the Brandon Hills Special District's website before the hearing in compliance with Chapter 189.418, Section 4 of the Florida Statutes. The final budget approved at this hearing will be posted on the same website. Board Treasurer Justine Wilkes presented the budget that had been approved in the May regular board meeting. The board recommended the annual ad valorem assessment would be $385 for each property in Brandon Hills. The meeting was open for questions and discussion. There were no questions or comments. Trustee Brad Sampson said, "I move that we approve the fiscal year 2025-26 budget as presented by the board. I also move that we adopt the board's resolution setting the assessment at $385. Zach seconded the motion, and it was approved by all trustees present. The hearing adjourned at 8:41 p.m.
Any additions or corrections? Motion to accept it as read.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, treasurer's report.
I realized I only brought the May one. I have to read the other one from my phone.
I've got it.
You have
got it?
April?
Yeah.
I was like, just have May's. Okay. The beginning balance for the April 2025 treasurer report is $52,783.95. We had income special assessments of $2,009.46, and the interest for the month of April was $17.48 for a total of $2,026.94. Our expenses were $4,235.92. The ending cash balance was $50,574.97. Did we read the capital?
Yeah, go ahead.
The reserve for future capital is $30,171. Reserve for contingency is $3,504. The total reserves is $33,675, and what's available for cash for operations is $16,899.97. That's the April treasurer's report.
Thank you.
May, the beginning balance, May 1st, was $50,574.97. There was no income for the month of May, and the total expenses were $2,059.75. The ending cash balance is $48,515.22. Reserve for future capital is $30,171. Reserve for contingency is $3,504, and the total reserves is $33,675, and available for operation is $14,840.22.
Any additions or corrections to either April or May?
Motion to accept.
Second,
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So there was no income April or May.
No, April.
April there was.
April, okay,
April
'cause
had
that-
income.
Oh, that's right,
1,000.
that's right, okay. I've only got May in front of me, okay. Cause I was gonna say taxes, that was the last time due. All right. We don't have much on the agenda tonight. I just wanna mention some really special people. First of all, Brad Sampson teaches middle school. And when he comes to these meetings, he has taught middle school. Think awful, ugly 12 to 14-year-olds. And then he leaves there and comes to our meetings, so
Not
I
now,
just,
some break.
I would,
No other things now.
summer break now. But I just would like for you all to just really understand that, those of us that are retired, it's not the same. I taught middle school. I know what it's like to leave school and just all you wanna do is be on the couch. And so I just wanna thank Brad for being a good example for the kids and putting his time in here. All right, I wanna thank Brad's wife, Janet, who did a phenomenal job of planning the pool party. She and Brad worked super, super, super hard. I wanna thank Art Gazetta, who helped with the party. He bought chicken wings and ice and water and just really, really did a great job. And Art and my husband David and I did the Kunti palms in front of the pool. And I went down to do some finish up work, and our neighbors, your neighbor, what's their last name?
Ernesto
And Heidi.
and
Heidi, they saw me and they just came running over and to help me finish up. And they said, anything else we can do? I said, come with me. And I took them to the north entrance where we also have Kunti palms. And I said, could you all just do this? Just take care of it. And oh, they were happy to do it. So they came by and got my battery operated hedge trimmer, and they had their 16 or 17-year-old son helping them. 45 minutes is all it took. Done and done. So Art worked like a dog, and then he went off to New York to see the lilacs. And but anyway, we got it done. I want to thank Tom Lejeune, because Tom brought us a big pan of cookies for the party. And then, tell me, I think I got this right. You bought the plants that are at the south entrance.
Correct.
Correct. And then Roberto planted them. Yeah. And Roberto is gonna water them. Across there at the south entrance, Mr. Diaz, his people and his water bill take care of watering the north side of the south entrance. And Roberto has now agreed with me. I have a way of making these people do what I want them to do, don't I? But Roberto agreed, and then Tom bought the plants. So we thank you, Tom. And it's gonna be pretty. I really like them. Art.
Roberto also, I think, ran his sprinkler system.
Take your while you
No, I don't
talk.
have to, well, that thing's running. He ran from his house, water sprinkler system to water those plants that he planted. So they should thrive.
And for the record, let's make sure that it's that you was jesting, just in case someone says otherwise. That you didn't make anybody do anything.
I
They
know.
they did what they wanna do, but they're helping the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
But I asked Roberto, I said, Roberto, how would you feel about being responsible for this part of our entry? And Roberto works hard anyway. I mean, he's always working hard out there. But I did ask him, yes, I do not make him do it.
She made me though.
Art's different. Jan.
Is it going to be mulched?
I don't know, Tom mentioned that because the weeds are coming up
They're
and,
You're gonna have a weed problem there, I think.
well, we've kept them, cause I've mulched them year after year after year.
There's no mulch at all now.
And there's nothing there now but weeds
There
coming
should
up.
be.
Okay,
It also holds the moisture in.
I will mention to Roberto that we could buy, I think it takes 11 bags, I think is what I always bought.
But I
Good.
think it expands a little more into,
He's got it nicely down to his driveway, yeah, and that was the advantage of Roberto doing it, is it helped him make his property side look good too. He's a hard worker, just really incredible.
Was there a problem with paying for the mulch?
No.
No, not at all.
Okay,
That's
good.
part of our entry.
Okay. that's-
Yeah, I will, or whoever sees him, Tom, if you see him out,
Did what?
if you see Roberto out, stop and talk to him about putting down mulch, and that the board will pay for it, the budget will pay
Yeah,
for it.
I can get plants, I can't get mulch.
Right, okay, we can figure this out, okay. We do need to get that done though. Okay, the Ramirez family, and I did buy cleaning supplies, so I'd like to, this is new business. I would like to submit for reimbursement, $31.95, and I think there's enough, I had to buy a new broom and dustpan, toilet cleaner, paper towels, and toilet paper. $31.95. Do I hear a motion?
motion.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So we'll, thank you so much. Trista, you have questions?
Yeah, I didn't understand the reserve for capital or contingency, so I did a little bit of research, and that money, can that money be used except for what it's already appropriated for?
Bobby, do you want to speak to that?
So as my recollection, yes, it's mandated in the budget forms that come from Hillsborough County,
Yes.
that has to be in there. And, you know, it's a contingency, so if something comes up that is not in your budget, you have this pool to pull from.
So you can pull from it for other things other than what,
You have to do an amended budget in order to pull from it.
you have to do, okay. Well, I'm confused, I guess, because like in October and November of last year, we went under the amount, we only had 28,900 in the, available, for cash operations, and that was not including the reserves for capital. The reserves for capital were a little over 30,000, so we would have gone under that amount, so we could pull from the reserves for capital.
Yeah, for what reason? Why are you saying that?
Because-
They're two different amounts, so I mean.
Right, because we had less. If we had the reserves for capital up here, which we do on all the other months, we didn't have enough
So
ready cash. We didn't have enough cash.
That budget is for the whole year. You don't start receiving your funds until December because people are starting. to pay.
Right, right,
So it doesn't mean that you have that budget day one. That is the budget for the year.
right, exactly.
So you
Yeah.
can't look at it the day one we went under. As long as you're not under by the end of the year. You're
But we're
okay.
also collecting money to build,
Throughout the year, yeah.
well,
It's not
Right,
like
well,
that's
we
So that
did
is-
not
day
in
one.
October and
well, in
November.
20 years, we're gonna remarcite the pool and we
Right.
have allocated 50, 60,000,
Right,
so
so
we're,
we can spend that money is what you're saying, that reserves for capital, we can
but what's gonna
spend.
happen is, the next year, when we do a budget, we're gonna have to include that, and then, so we can put the money back into the remarch site.
Right, you have to add extra.
The
Correct.
For
contingency,
the budget.
contingency is for emergencies. Reserve for capital is for projects that come up that are long-standing
ones.
deal. You know,
Right.
Paving could possibly be one. If for some reason they ever need to be replumbed, sewer lines replaced,
And we
a
had,
roof,
we had three
remark
things,
site,
yeah, we had three things last year.
fencing.
Tree, Anyway,
So that's why we went under,
to
because,
speak it,
But
yes.
again, you're saying under,
Because, yeah,
what,
you
what do you mean by
can't-
going under?
You
Okay,
can't look
if-
at the budget for the year and say, oh, our very first month, we're under. You have to look at the year.
right, I am.
Yeah, so-
I understand what you're saying. I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
'Cause we're
We
never
had
the
to
whole.
dip into the reserve for capital, is what I'm saying, in order to pay our bills.
What do you mean? No, we never,
No.
no.
In October, we did. We didn't have the money.
Where do you see that?
Right here. Okay, we don't have the reserve for capital here. It's 0, but it isn't. It's supposed to be for the,
It's supposed to be that amount by the end of the year, not day one.
Okay, so,
right here, I'm talking about down
okay,
here,
so our beginning balance is how much?
34,000.
Okay, so our beginning balance is 34,
Right,
32 here,
right. But then we had to
available
take
cash
that out.
for that.
What's the
Right.
available cash for operations?
It's
28.
28.9. And you see, but we didn't take out the reserve. But you're saying that's okay, as long as it's there.
By the end
Into-
of the year, because you're collecting
this
that
is
money
October.
during the year.
So
Right,
this,
that's
and this is the
of
first
the
month.
year. Right.
Okay, I misunderstood, and I thought that we always had to have that money every month in there. So that's not true. Okay. got
Another
that.
thing that you might be interested in is
Yeah.
we had to realign, and it was an incredibly difficult conversation. Mary Mahoney and Jessica were on the phone for, I think she said 2 hours. Mary Mahoney led her through, but we had to do a formal statement of realigning. So it, the category was reserved for capital, and then we had to put the amount, we decreased it or increased it. And it's a formal statement.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that had to be done behind the scenes.
it had to be done, yeah, she had to
Got
do it.
Yes.
Okay,
Because
I didn't
it's-
know.
So yes, you
Yeah.
can pull from that, but
It has to go back in.
it has to go back to the county, yes.
Right.
It's- They
Okay.
don't want you to do it, which
Okay.
is why I think they put in that reserve for contingency and make each special district do that in case of emergency.
Right, well, I learned an interesting thing in researching this. It's actually a Florida statute.
Absolutely.
I had no idea. I did
Absolutely.
not know that. And the other thing about the Florida statute is, I have a question first. I'll pass out, I have the budget. I do, I have some questions. I'm new. Is that okay? Okay, thank you.
This was between him and I, nothing to do with you.
Okay. This is the budget last month that we did. Here you go. I'm sorry, that's all I have.
Sorry.
The important people gonna look at it.
Why is, okay, under non-operating, it's the last paragraph, 99.01, budget transfers. Where did that money come from? It transfers when you transfer money from one account to another. I didn't understand that at all. Did you? It's 1478.
You wanna look at it, Bobby?
Well, I don't think she saw that budget. I don't think she saw option 3.
No.
See, it was a credit,
I'm trying to think.
That
so it
is-
has to
that
be a
is the
debit.
Fee to the county. So when we collect our special assessment, they take a percentage out. That's the
Right.
fee to the county,
It's
I
up
believe.
here, it's 1755. It's not, was that a mistake? It should
No,
have been.
minus 5% I think is bad debt, possible bad debt. And again, that's their form.
Yeah, this is the form that comes
I
from
mean,
the
that's-
county.
That's their calculation.
But,
So
yeah.
that
Okay.
minus 5% is just something that the county.
That's what they take.
No, I think that's in there for bad debt.
So what's the
In other words,
minus
taxes not collected.
1755?
Bad debt.
Bad debt.
This is their interpretation of our budget. This is not our actual budget.
Really? It's not our actual budget?
No, I mean,
Because
this,
we don't
the way it's
calculate a
set up,
5%
yeah.
bad debt.
yeah, this,
They do.
Right, I thought it was the money that we gave them, I mean, it comes out of the top.
Yeah.
I know that.
Right.
It comes out of the top, and I thought that 5% was the money.
do
that
do
the
you have
tax
the
collector-
detail one, the detail pages behind
Oh,
this?
rats, I don't think I do. No, I
I
don't.
mean, I'm going off my recollection, you know, it's been a few years since I've done this.
I just,
Yeah, this one,
Yeah.
all three, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
but if it's a budget transfer, it needs to be the same amount, doesn't it? It has to be the 1755.
No, cause they're two different things.
Yeah, the
Okay, I'm not understanding.
9901 is,
Yeah.
budget transfers is,
Yeah.
that's what goes to the county.
But, okay, so they get 4%, then they don't get 5%. They must get 4%. Because 5% is the 1755.
Yeah.
I did check.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is it added?
Because
And
if you
where,
look-
shouldn't it be
If you
subtracted?
look at the option C in the detail, that tells you what that is.
But again,
So
that's all
that
county.
page is my format that gives you the detail and the explanation. The other one is their
Okay,
format.
there, I see, okay, the budget transfer is the special assessment, okay, I understand that. That's bad debt. Okay, the other thing is, according to the Florida statute, the total revenues plus the expenses, I'm sorry, the, total revenues plus the prior year's balance, add those, must equal the total expenses and then the future capital, reserve, the reserves and the budget transfers. It doesn't equal. It's not the same. The numbers are not the same.
I don't know.
Let me see.
Again,
This number and that number, according to the Florida statute, they must be the same. It's right here. I was like, what? Says the total amount available from taxation, right here.
but if
including
there's
balances.
bad debt, our budget isn't gonna show bad debt.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Because we have to put it in there.
So what's the point? What are we trying to prove?
That they don't, it doesn't balance, the budget doesn't balance, that's
So-
my question. This number and that number must equal, according to this.
Zero. No balances.
Right, well, how did you get 0 when these numbers don't match?
Well, off the top of my head, I'd have to look at it and study it, so would she.
Yeah, I wouldn't, if you wanted me to take it back and look at it again.
Yeah, is this, I think, where did yours go?
Mine,
Yeah, is this it?
this is the one that you just handed me.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
So they send you, a bad debt, who didn't pay for the year?
Some years we have had bad debt, and other years we have not.
What would be bad debt?
If
Somebody
somebody
don't
doesn't pay
pay.
their taxes and doesn't pay
Oh,
the assessment.
okay, that's considered bad debt.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Alright.
it's several every year, isn't it?
yeah, there's several
And that's
people
not
that don't
public
pay.
information to us here at the table except for
Yeah.
the treasurer.
Well, it is public, it's online.
Well, you have to go
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at it.
yeah.
We
Right,
don't
yeah.
discuss it here and we don't bring it up.
As,
Right.
as the treasurer,
Right.
you have to sign a disclosure because the treasurer is seeing the county Excel spreadsheet, the upload file, and you're not allowed to divulge that information. Yes, you can go out there and look it up yourself,
Right,
but as the treasurer, you're not allowed
that
to
did, sure, I
share that
understand,
information.
yeah. That makes sense.
So I have reported previously that you've got 5 homes that are not paying their taxes, or, you know, haven't paid it by the due date, haven't paid it by April. And then there's been years where somebody's come in and paid that debt, and the following year, we actually got more revenue than we budgeted for, because
Right.
it finally came in.
Right. That's all, I just didn't understand, I know it says 0,
And the other
But it
thing is,
doesn't
all
add
this
up.
goes to the county by July 15, and the county takes a look at it.
so did the county do this, or?
No, not at all.
We did this.
It's
Or
the
you did
county's format.
it. Right,
But yes, but we put the numbers in.
Which probably means they have a machine that can audit very quickly and figure it all out.
okay, and then it comes back to you
Right.
all done,
If there was,
so everything zeroes out.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna submit that this year's assessment's 385, so you plug
Right.
that number in and it starts calculating the other stuff for us.
On this sheet?
Mhm.
Neat, that's neat.
Yeah, we are not a fraternity that can, and thank God I'm not an HOA. Okay,
so I'll let you know.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Something or an explanation.
Any other business, comments, questions? Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let's run.
I need a
8 o'clock?
signature.
7:58.
Oh.
We really have to do somebody a pay.
7:58.
I was listening. I heard distinctly 6 voices.
And then, so I've got like a little package that I